Saturday.
Always Saturday.
Even when you're not with the boys, sometimes it's still Saturday. When you're quarantined and are absolutely losing your mind, every day just feels like Saturday because you have nothing to do all day.
Time and space is just gone. It just doesn't
It's
happen anymore.
literally, what day of the week is it? I don't know.
I only know it's Wednesday because it is my dog Riley's birthday. He has turned 13.
Oh, he's a big boy now. He's
He
a teenager.
he is a teenager. He's very tiny, but he is a teenager.
He can watch PG-13
He
movies.
can. I've been covering his eyes until then. He wasn't quite ready for him yet, I don't think. Yeah, like when he was like a young pup, he thought he could like take it, but then we watched like 300. He got really scared when there was the fighting. It was a whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
So there's the depressing fact for me, somewhat neutral fact for you, that Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the Democratic thingamadoober today. So it's just gonna be Joe Biden, which is endlessly
yeah,
depressing.
that is. I would say that's a depressing fact for me as well.
Yeah, well, just the fact that it's Bernie that dropped out, it's neutral. Like, it's universally depressing that it's gonna be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just
just some
yeah.
senile fuck. Like,
Honestly, I was thinking about this. I like just had a shower and I was thinking about this in the shower, and
mhm.
I was like, what? Like Joe Biden. How they ever think that Joe Biden will ever beat Trump is beyond me. Joe Biden cannot even put a sentence together.
I know and like he's barely a Democrat as well. Like he's
Yeah.
like because Trump is barely a Republican. Like Trump is a left wing Republican and he's a right wing Democrat. They align in the same spot. I'll just shout out Janer Porter that just said, "Watch Biden and Trump die of corona, though."
Yeah. How many viewers do we have?
Well, the thing is that it said zero, but Jane has chatted, so I feel like it's iffy right now. But let's not worry about it. Gamer, that
Uh,
fucking ringtone.
hey, if I want to hear you, you also have to hear that.
That's
So it's
I just be less popular. That's the real issue here.
yeah. That was actually my mom asking me if I wanted. She was asking me if I wanted peanut M&Ms, which is obviously a yes.
Hook me up.
Um, I just, I just think that I have no idea what the Democrat strategy is because Biden is the same as Hillary, but he's not as popular and is not a woman. And
Yeah,
like,
it's just
he's like
not.
they're the same. Like Hillary represents the establishment,
Hmm.
the overgrown, disgusting, bloated thing that is the U.S. government,
Hmm.
just as much as Biden does, and it's just that same like. If you put either of these people in power, nothing is going to change. All
Yeah.
going to stay
Well,
so
especially
obvious.
like with them like aligning on everything politically. Thanks for taking the dishes, Veronica. Appreciate it. You want to come say hi with your very damp hair? No, you don't feel like doing that. Bye. I love you. Okay, she did say she loves me back. She's leaving. I know the mic didn't pick it up, but she does. She said it, guys. God. Just fine. Never trust an e-girl. That should be the first rule.
we we need to talk about this, Spencer, because
Mm-hmm.
this has happened twice now, where me and you have been playing GTA Online, and you
Mm-hmm.
have left to talk to Veronica on the phone, and that is some grade A simp behavior. Grade A simp behavior. Like that's like textbook simphood. Like
I
if you
know.
read the book of simp, that's in there, leaving the boys or the boy to
I
talk to a girl on the phone.
I know. I need to atone for my sins, and I
I,
truly apologize.
honestly, it's disgusting. It's
I
truly disgusting.
I'll sacrifice her. I know the atonement. I need to sacrifice her. There'll be like this whole blood ritual, and then I'll be atoned for the sin of simp.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what needs to happen.
that's the 11th commandment. It got chipped off when he was carrying it down the hill. He tripped, and the 11th one broke off. But It
Thou
was "Thou
shalt.
shalt not simp," and that's just how it be.
Did you know that deer and cow eat birds?
Deer and cow. What the fuck? Deer and cows
Yeah,
eating birds. That is a horrific thought.
yeah, they do. Joe Rogan told me.
Joe Rogan said so.
Yeah, exactly. And I
You
haven't
got.
actually looked it up.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah. I was just gonna say. Janer says, "I think all men with girlfriends have to simp at least a little." I think that was meant to be an attack at you, Ian.
oh, uh,
Anyway, Joe
no.
Rogan birds.
Anyway,
No,
yeah,
no,
Joe Rogan. Yeah,
no.
apparently, and apparently these like people who are trying to study birds, they set up like these nets like in the forest to like catch the birds like humanely. And they would like study them from within the net and then just set them free from the net and like tag them or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, the deers found the nets, and so they would just like wait for birds to get caught in the net, and then they'd eat the birds.
That's fucking wild. That should be illegal in the animal kingdom. Because like that is strange. That is like what? So you said cows as well. Was it like the same thing? It was like a
Yeah.
field that had deers and cows, and they both are just like time to munch and crunch, boys.
Yep.
God,
They just on that crunch.
they getting it. Oh, I have so many tabs open. I was thinking we're both men of true intellect. If
Exactly. Yep. 100%.
big time. If like there's been a lot of smart people throughout time. If you had to like pick a historical figure that you thought was really intelligent and had to ask them something and be like, what should I do? Like, what would you ask and who would you ask? I would ask Ben Shapiro. Anybody as well, Janer in chat, if you want to say who you would ask and what you would ask. And if you say Madame Curie, then you're cheating. Because that's the easy answer.
What I would do first is become the president of the United States, and then I would ask Ben Shapiro if I should invade Israel, and he would tell me no, and that Israel is the U.S.'s greatest ally. Then I would tell him to fuck off, and I'd invade Israel.
I do believe when I was starting this up for the live stream, there was a moment where we could see the chat exchange that we had in Discord before I got a full screen. And we caught where you just said "fuck Israel."
Yeah.
Janer says, "Lol, the chicken-eating cow is a post on science blogs." Because Jane follows science blogs because she's a nerd. Absolute tomfoolery.
Mega nerd.
Mega nerd. Yeah, I think it's another one of those classics where I did not think of an answer before asking you what I would do. I think.
I was thinking about this the other day. I don't actually know anything about Israel other than the U.S. sends them like billions of dollars.
All I know is that the U.S. gives them money, and that's bad because giving money to people is bad.
And like that's like where Jesus was born in Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
But like other than that, it's just like a really funny meme to hate Israel. So
Yo, fuck this ethnicity and country. Israelis hate them. Why? Meme. Bro, have you seen? Oh no, you go.
I was gonna say I've been like I sent them into the group chat the Yankee with no brim memes. Oh my gosh.
It's so not funny. It is
so
so
much.
not funny.
Just the original video of the guy pulling up with just like the cap on, and there's like no brim, and it's like the New York Yankees hat, and he's just like,
got like
yo,
a Yankees yarmulke on,
Yankee
basically.
with no brim, Yankee with no brim, and then it's like, and now there's like a bunch of parodies that's like, yo, brim with no Yankee.
I know. There's just that video of like I imagine it's the audio fucked up with that, but I didn't have the context of the original meme, so it was just this picture of a hat brim on a white background and just some dude going brim with no Yankee, brim with no Yankee. I'm like this is just non-content. This isn't a
It
thing.
was so no, it's so funny. Uh, I was like, I sent it into the group chat. There was like the whole like arc of the story, like back to back to back in the same post. It was like, yo, Yankee with no brim, and then it was like, yo, brim with no
No
Yankee,
Yankee.
and then the next one was like, yo, Yankee with brim, and then it was like, no Yankee, no brim.
Just absence. Bro, speaking of absence, I was just thinking about that since I've not paid attention to my classes lately because I've been mentally absent. But in one of my classes, because of how they've like changed everything, like I have an assignment due on the 20th. It is worth 60% of my grade, so whether or not I pass the course is how I do this one assignment, and it is marked out of 20 points, and that is it.
So you better do good on it.
Yeah, and I have not paid attention in that class for the last month, which is not a good look. Bro,
I
man,
got a
just
candle.
snorting shit.
Yeah, I got a candle.
What kind? Wakanda.
Sweet tobacco and vanilla, which doesn't sound like it would smell very good, but it does.
Oh, Janer just sent a goddamn paragraph in chat. I'll just read it out real quick. Here's how it goes. Watson and Crick (parentheses the people who solved DNA) close parentheses wrote a paper that basically shitted on every other scientist that did not solve the human building block / DNA problem. Parentheses structure and conformation. Oh, this is who she would talk to. Close parentheses. And then they threw further shade as to suggest that the way that DNA was passed down was then obvious, and I would ask them if they actually knew the answer to the heredity problem when they published. That's fair. Oh, I didn't give my answer.
That's
Uh,
so Jane.
nerd
Get
shit.
like literally, what a nerd. Get a life. My goodness.
I think. Well, I think it's not. Jane definitely gonna give worse answers, but I feel like.
Hey, yesterday I asked like you and like a ton of people. I was like, could you beat a house cat in a
Oh, I could
fight?
fuck up a house. I could
Yeah,
demolish a
yeah.
house cat.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And like some people were like, no, I don't think so. And like I think like most people could, not all
If you hit
people.
it once reasonably hard, it's just done. Like, it's a small,
Yeah,
frail animal. It has claws, but they're not very sharp. If it gets near your face, you could like be
they
fucked
quit
up. A
quick.
house cat cannot kill you. Like,
They quick.
mhm. They
But
are,
I
but yeah.
sent the same question to Jane, and she was like, why would I kill this cat? And first of all, she hates animals, so why
Yeah.
wouldn't she kill? And second of all, she was like talking about Harry Potter and if she had magic powers. And I was like, Jane, do you have magic powers in real life? No, you don't.
That's such
So
a Jane answer. That's
stop.
fantastic.
Do I have magic powers? No.
Like Jane just opens up.
Stop.
Jane opens with, "Well, first off, morally, you're bad. Second of all, if I was in Harry Potter."
Yeah. It's the most Jane answer ever.
No, it's great though. Jane's a champ. She tries her best. But no, well, because again, like, not obviously the It's Always Saturday podcast does not condone animal abuse, but if you're trapped in a room with a rabid cat, or I'd say even a raccoon, you could probably take it. Like, I think. Well, because the
Raccoon.
thing is that I think a lot of people, when like they're posed with the idea of like fighting a wild animal, it's like that animal will fight you until either you have run away or died, or until it dies. And like it may run away, but it's very unlikely for an animal to do that. So you can't be like, no, stop, badger that's biting my leg off, just like tap it on the head. Like you need to like if you're fighting a wild animal, you fight assuming that it's going to kill you if you don't. So if you have that mentality, you could take most like humans could take most small animals in that way. Like we used to hunt elk. Like,
People still do hunt elk. I
no, I
think
mean, like we
like
would like chase them, grab them, and then just fucking break their necks. Like that's just what humans used to do. Because we couldn't outspeed an elk, but we could outpace an elk. You know, 100,000 years ago.
yeah. I think I think once you get up to like wolf and coyote, then it's
Yeah.
getting sketchy. Then you're looking
Mm-hmm.
at like, okay, like a large portion of the population is not going to survive this.
Yeah. I think that that probably is where the line would be on the animal that most people could take. Is
Yeah. Or
like
even like
anybody
large
could like take a squirrel, assuming they could catch it. Like feel like that. Like smaller animals like a mouse, that'd be easy.
mhm,
But like yeah, coyote, wolf. Like if there's two, you're pretty much fucked. But if it's one,
yeah. Or like even like I'm not confident that a lot of people could take Lincoln.
you oh yeah, definitely your dog could decimate a lot of people.
Yeah.
My tiny 13-year-old dog though, nobody's got that dog.
I was thinking,
He's so
I don't
small.
know if it's, oh, I was thinking, okay, so I watched an old That's Cringe
Hmm.
the other day
Yeah.
from Cody and Noel.
Hmm.
And I rethought because I asked this question when Bobby was first on. I asked, who do you think is more attractive, Noel or Cody? And I've actually since then changed my answer because I like really looked at both of them during it,
Hmm.
and like I'd fuck Noel.
Yeah, he's got a nice face. Like Cody, like he's got more bulk, which is cool. But like Noel, he just got a good face, man.
Yeah, the true facts. I bet you he's got an ass too.
Probably, man. Probably got dumpy. He seems like he does squats.
He really does. He does squats. He's pretty skinny.
Yeah, but well, like our good friend Eric Butler. I feel like he's kind of got that
Uh-huh.
type of build, except he's like 5'8" instead of like 6'3".
Yeah, he does have. Yeah, I think he does have that build. But like, we talk about how like Butler's got the dumpy all the time, but like he really don't. Like,
You just
there's no.
destroyed Butler. He can't. He can never see this now. He won't recover. That man puts so much stock in the ass that he doesn't have. I mean, he's got
Yeah,
a little. Like
he's got
he's he's doing all right.
like
Like he's got like a cup worth.
yeah, I'd say like half a C.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say like on a good day a full C, but that'd be about it. Man's
Yeah,
got
in
the.
the right pants, he's got a full C.
Hmm.
But you ever notice how much he wears like baggy joggers?
He does, and those just aren't flattering to anybody. Like
Yeah.
I've never liked joggers. I thought they look like in my mind they're just track pants. Like you like run in them because they're cinched at your ankle, so it doesn't feel weird when you run. And then like you take them off and put normal fucking pants on when you're doing the rest of your stuff. Like,
I'm a big fan of track pants. Like
hmm
I got some like Adidas track pants, big fan.
like if you get like upscale ones, it's like okay, it's a trend. But like, well, no, I got some shit. I got some like dog shit quality ones that I got for like $20, and like they're fine. I wear them as pajama pants half the time, but like I don't know. I've never honestly found men's fashion to be that great. Like currently, at least, like hoodies and shit. It's just so boring.
Yep,
But then
and
my
that's the
ass
way.
out here just wearing them gay cardigans all the time.
Yeah, man's got his rainbow shoes. He's got
I
cardigan.
do. I still can't wear those rainbow shoes. I genuinely think because like if I try to wear them, my like heel will get sliced open from the fucking back of them. But I also recently bought those were Converse. I bought another pair of Converse recently, and they don't have that problem in the heel. So it's just like the Pride shoes that will actively damage your feet, but the other ones won't.
It's because Converse hates the gays.
I think they do. I genuinely think
He
that
made a
like
shoe specifically to hurt them.
I think they might have well because I think like realistically like I think part of it is that they aren't I can't imagine that they manufacture their shoes anywhere in North America. And like just realistically in like Eastern countries, they don't have much tolerance for gay people at all. And most of the US don't have much tolerance for gay people. So I think like my genuine theory is that like factory workers are like, why is there rainbows on here? I'm gonna make the heel cut you if you wear these because you're gay and I don't like you.
Because you're gay? I think we need to take a moment to praise Dana White.
What a
Because
champion.
literally, it was like UFC 249, Khabib, Tony Ferguson. It's going to happen. This is the 5th time that we've booked this fight. Khabib gets stuck in lockdown in Russia, so he can't come to the US. And now the whole card is up in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no idea where they're going to have. Dana White not only secures a facility for the next 2 weeks, like for like this upcoming week and the week after, to hold UFC 49. He not only secures that venue, he adds Francis Ngannou and can't remember his first name, but his last name is Rosenstrike to the card. 1 second.
Oh, man's got the M&Ms now. Vibing hard. Any peanut M&M fans in chat?
No, it wasn't my peanut M&Ms. It was my little brother. Anyways, he adds Francis Ngannou and Rosenstrike to the card, which is going to be a hell of a fight because they both have incredible knockout power. My personal pick is Francis, and then fixes it so that Tony Ferguson is going to fight Justin Gaethje, which like everyone's so mad that we lost Khabib versus Tony Ferguson because that's the 5th time that this fight has been, which is really rough because we really need to see them fight because at the moment they are the top two guys in the lightweight division and they've never fought. But Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje is going to be an amazing matchup. They are both guys who have unconventional striking. They are both guys who can go to that dark place where you have to go to win fights, go the whole 5 rounds. And this is for the interim lightweight belt. And Justin he tweeted the other day, after he took the fight, he tweeted, I'm fucking terrified right now. 1 second. Go away. No, go away.
Just live stream of you just pummeling your brother. What a champ.
Even though it's not the card that we wanted, it's going to be a good card. Although it was just announced today that Rose Namajunas pulled out. She was going to be with the co-main event with Jessica Andrade, which is unfortunate. But Dana White's been pulling off miracles left and right. So, I mean, he could pull an opponent for Jessica Andrade out of his ass.
Man's just getting Fight Island prepared.
For real.
Man's just buying up that Epstein real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to his estate. Well, he probably kept it since he's not dead, but...
Yeah. Just, like, transferred it to a different name. Just like...
Epstein gave all of... His will and testament leaves everything to Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I wonder...
Or just, like, his will and testament leaves everything to some guy named... Effrey Jepstein. He just switched the letters of his first and second name.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein and cousin Effrey Jepstein recently. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. God, I hate the Clintons.
So much.
They're disgusting. Any Clinton haters in chat? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Or if you're a Clinton supporter, you can drop your ad chat, and we'll come pay you a visit.
Oh, as well, I think I'll just take a moment. So, Ian, I know that you applied for EI. Have I talked with you about what's happening with that and with the Canadian government in general right now? All right. So, you know, there's like the new thing that starts in April, the new system that isn't EI.
Doesn't it start this week?
Yeah, like people are. If you haven't already, like people can start applying now. Basically, it's
Actually, I can't apply till tomorrow because my birthday.
well, you applied for EI, so you don't have to. Because so this is why I was gonna go on a little spiel for
Oh,
anybody that is in Canada and doesn't have a job right now. So basically, if you've already applied for EI, you're automatically transferred into this program called CERB. It's CERB. I don't know what I think. I know ERB is Emergency Relief Benefits. I forget what C stands for. So if you applied for EI, you're already in this system. If you're not, based on your month of birth, is what day you should apply on. And how it works is that you get EI if you worked over 700 hours in the past 54 weeks. Past 54 weeks, 700 hours, you get EI. If you haven't worked 700 hours, but you have made over $5,000 last year, which most people have if they worked for a full year, or even half a year, really. If you have $5,000, then you fall in for CERB, which is then you'll receive $500 a week, so a total of 2,000 a month, for a maximum of 16 weeks, or until you are paid for any job that you get. So, just for anybody, any Canadians watching, real quick, just some advice on financial support.
um, what was I saying? I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I think that the fact that, you know, I think that the fact that the Hillary, like the Clinton body count is a concept is
Yeah,
really, is like, I feel like, like they definitely killed at least some of those people.
yeah. Like
Even if,
if there's that lengthy people to pick from, one of them has to be them. Like
yeah, like that one guy who like killed himself from two
shots
gunshots
to
to
the
the
back
back
of
of
the
the
head. Yeah, fuck.
like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. We live in a wild era, man. God. Oh. Well, it looks well. We're hoping coronavirus is panned down. It'll be done by June, July at the latest,
Hopefully.
I'd say. So that's nice at least. I have faith. I think things will be all right sooner than people expect generally.
Fun fact, my hand, like so you know like you have like your forearms that
Mhm.
like do that, they move your hand around. But then
Yeah.
you have like your actual hand muscles and a lot of them like extend down
Hmm.
into your arm. Like I don't know if you can see like when I move my middle finger, there's
Hmm.
also that wrist that moves.
Yeah, like the
But
tendon. Yeah.
have like you have actual muscles in your hands and my hand muscles are so tight that when I go to cross my fingers I can't really. And
You
so on
can't
my
bend your
left hand,
finger.
well, not really. Like it's like that. So on my left hand, what I have to do is I take my right hand and I like have to like put it across, and then on
Jesus.
my right hand, I can't.
That's
Like if I
that's also
do
because you're
that, it,
left-handed, so that's weird.
yeah, I don't know. I also used to be able to do this thing that I can't anymore. Oh, I kind of can. You like put your hands like this, and you like make a frog.
Excellent content, Ian. Fantastic. I think, well, the one that I
It's like
always
a
grew up
thing of
with is
church
like,
family
here's the
gathering.
church, here's the steeple, open the doors, and here's all the people.
Oh yeah.
That was the
And then
classic when I was growing up.
there's like, here's the church, there's the steeple, open up the doors, where's all the people?
Ha ha ha. And all the toddlers in chat are going buck wild.
They're going insane.
They're saying like, "Yo, ma, I need another hit of that tit." I'm worn out from laughing so hard. Toddlers going wild.
um, I actually is what day is it?
Today is April
April
8th, Wednesday.
April 8th, Wednesday. Just let me double check. Okay, so we don't have to make my fight corner predictions yet. Not till next.
Alright, good shit.
Have you seen those egg ads?
No, what are the egg ads?
So they're like Oop.
Man just shit his pants.
No, I have like a feel like I have like a burp, but it's not
Mm.
coming, so just go right on. They're like these ads, and I'm not sure what company runs them, but it's this whole thing about how like you can eat eggs for like dinner, lunch, and not just breakfast. Have you seen those?
I haven't seen it. I think it's just because you consume so much eggs that your Instagram targeted ads are just about eggs.
Yeah, yeah, it's like eggs. It's like, and what they always say is like, eggs for dinner. It's like there's like the two different commercials. One of them says like eggs for dinner, and the other one says eggs for lunch. But it's like eggs for dinner is not weird. You're weird for thinking that it's weird. And the commercial will be like, this person prepares eggs for supper, and the other person's like, oh, that's so weird. And they're like, oh, no, it's not. And that's the whole commercial. And it's so stupid because
Kind of
this is
cringe.
not it's like that same stupid thing that McDonald's tried to do, where they were like, "Is is it still a Big Mac if it has bacon?" And it's like you just said. They would
It's a
say like,
Big
"Is
Mac
it
with
bacon?"
bacon.
Yeah, like you just said that it was a Big Mac, and you bringing up these stupid egg ads where like egg for dinner isn't weird. It's like no, it's not, and you didn't need to say that it was. The only reason people are thinking that it's weird now is because you suggested that it was. Like
Yeah,
I don't know about it, but I eat eggs any time of the day.
yeah. Like
Like
I guess they are typically like breakfasty because they're like high in like fats and like they're just reasonably good for you. So they're a good way to start off what you're doing. But like I know like
yeah,
anybody that works out regularly eats eggs a lot. But
yeah, like typically I do have eggs in the morning, and I still live with my parents, and so my mom doesn't let me eat eggs all the time. But when I move out, I'm gonna be eating eggs twice a day probably because I love eggs. So it's not like you made it weird by suggesting that it might be weird. Just like you made me not, well, actually, like, you made me not like your ads by suggesting that a Big Mac with bacon isn't a Big Mac. Like
yeah,
this
when the
is a
title is "Can I have a Big Mac with bacon?" It's like, well, is it a Big Mac? Fucking
is it a Big Mac? Yes,
like
it is.
is a shoe with a sock in it still a shoe? Like the
I
fuck?
don't know.
Oh,
What?
oh. Yeah.
What?
Well, it's just like shit like that where they're like just like if there is an answer, like no food is like for a time of day. Food is a it's food. It's just a thing you consume and that's it. Like there are times of day that we have found are best for balancing human insulin levels and that's why we have 3 meals. Like we can just eat. Like it's just fine. No foods fall into any category. We like to put them in categories, but that's a cultural thing. Like,
It's whack.
yeah,
It's
well, cause
just like
oh yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's just like you're trying to like stir up controversy to like boost like your ads and to get more revenue so that like people talking about it and everything like that. Which is like
I
fair.
mean, that's what the Democratic Party does in the states, though. So,
Yeah. It's like fair. I get it, but
but fuck
stop.
off.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, well, because it's again where like that ad, I just realized is extra dumb because it's again like eggs for breakfast is just like a North American thing. Like I remember I went to Germany and in Germany they don't have hot food for breakfast. It's just not a thing there. A German breakfast is like cold cuts of meat, cheese and bread with some margarine. You can put like sauces on it if you want to. But like you get like a piece of like dark rye bread, put some meat on it, put some cheese on it. That's what breakfast is in another country because that's just their culture. And like you have hot meals, like you can have a hot meal for lunch and you can have a hot meal for dinner if you want. But most commonly, the only hot meal of the day is dinner in Germany. So
Hmm.
like eggs are hot. So in
Sounds
Germany, eggs are only for dinner. So Just dumb.
That's whack. You know what's something that's really good and is like steak and eggs. Have you ever had steak and
I
eggs?
have had steak and eggs. It is very good.
So good. And that's like typically a breakfast food and typically like a
A dinner
lunch
food.
or
Oh, I can't
yeah.
forget. The type of people that can't take that don't think they can fight a cat are the kind of people that think that certain foods have to be eaten at certain times of day. That's a fact. Yeah. Oh, that's rough. But like, oh, bruh, there's a restaurant in Calgary. They got fantastic steak and eggs. Gotta shout them out. They're called Nelly's on 90th. If you ever go to Calgary, go to Nelly's on 90th. A1 food, some good shit. You and I, if we take a boys trip to Calgary at some point in time, we gonna be getting some brunch.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, fucking people, disgusting fools.
Is there anyone else watching except for Jane?
Yeah, there's a few.
Alright.
We're
What's up,
vibing. We're
y'all?
doing okay.
Let us know in chat who you are and why you're here.
Yeah, sure. We podcast, we chat, we enjoy audience interaction because we love our fans.
I have had so little social interaction over the last like 3 weeks that please, please.
Oh. I mean, don't you live in a family of 7?
Yeah, they don't count though. And there's only 5 of us that actually live at home right now.
Yeah, that's still like it's me and my mother. Like you got people just because you tell them to go away doesn't mean they ain't like
Well, like it's my family, so like
so they're like kind of gay. Ooh.
so yeah, like a little gay, but
I really hope it's
no, and
just
I
Jane's family watching. That'd be so good if it's just like Jane, Cole, and Krista. That'd be fantastic.
yeah. Um yeah, no. But also like I'm a lot more extrovert than you are, so I need more I need more social contact. I was telling Buck the other day that like during quarantine, if I text you something random, please respond because it's a cry for help.
Yeah, I'll call you more, homie. That's rough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like that's one thing is that I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would, in all honesty. Because like, I think I was flexing on people since like well actually Butler was sick too, but like because I was sick for the week before everybody was quarantined, so like I have a week
Yeah.
plus, and as well I was away from school just for some like family stuff, like the week beforehand, so like I've been out of shit for a while, and I'm just vibing. So I definitely thought that I would have gone a little cuckoo. Which I think we haven't have we addressed the that poll that you took? I think we probably did last podcast.
We haven't on the podcast, no.
Oh,
We
okay.
talked about it when we were playing GTA the other day, but we haven't talked about it on the
Oh, I
podcast.
yeah. So for those of you that follow the podcast Instagram, IG at It's Always Saturday Podcast, we have polls that we put up, and the one that Ian put up recently was who do you think is more likely to go insane during quarantine, Ian or Spencer? And it's about 80% Ian and about 20% me. But what I did notice was that Ian put a giant picture of me as the background for this. So I think that may have swayed a few people towards me. And as well, I noticed that the people that voted exclusively for me were people that did not know who you were. Like the people that when I was saying I went to Germany that follow the IG were like, oh, well, Spencer, he's a weirdo. He talks to people. Spencer will go crazy.
Yeah. I was surprised. I thought I
Be
guess like
100% Ian.
what?
That'd be 100% you.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be 100% me
Well,
because I feel like anyone who knows either me or both of us would think me.
yeah. Because yeah,
Cause like,
I think if anybody that definitely like has met both of us, like it'd be like, oh, Ian's gonna suffer
yeah,
for a little bit.
it's there was like a couple day period where I was like waking up at like 2 p.m. and like not doing anything besides like me workout. But
Yeah.
I've pulled it together together. I'm doing a lot better now. I like have a schedule that I
Hmm.
because otherwise I just am like I can't. There's nobody to talk to, and I just lay in bed and do
Yeah, no,
nothing.
like I've had to do the same thing for myself as well, man. Like being stuck at home, like I was definitely letting myself slip for a little bit. I remember there was like one day where I stayed up till like 3 in the morning, and then I was like, that wasn't good. So like I set an alarm to wake up at a good time, and like since I've been like in bed at 11, passed out around midnight, and I wake up at 9. Like this has kind of been the cycle I've been shooting for, and like it's been okay. I've done my best. I'm usually out of bed by 10.
Uh,
It is very interesting to see how people's priorities shift when there isn't pressure from anything.
uh,
Just because you think like there's so much that you have to do so much of the time. Like you have to go do this, you have to go do that, and it's always going. But we can't go right now because we'll get sick and die of pneumonia. So now the incentive is just to not go. And that's just, I think, changed. I feel like after this happens, like this is going to be, I think at least, like a pretty big cultural change for a lot of people. So I think like after a few months of being stuck at home, for one, I think that the aspect of I think of course the virus is horrendous. It's very unfortunate that people are dying, but I do think that the impact that for people that are healthy that have to stay home and have to do something other than just, eat hot chip, lie and be on their phone and be bisexual, they're gonna have to figure out hobbies and they're gonna have to like develop new skills. And I think all in all, for people that are lucky enough to be healthy during this, they will either come out horrendous hermits that are going to have their backs hunched and half dead, or they're going to be much better developed people. That's sort of my stance on
uh-huh.
this.
Yeah, like I would say, like for myself, the on like what keeps me on track, like now that like I don't have work, is like working out, like
Mm-hmm.
practicing combinations on like the dummy that I have out there, and like my hobbies have been like keeping me on track. Like I'll show the viewers on
Ooh.
my whiteboard.
Oh,
I
look
have
at
this
whiteboard view.
big
Wow.
this big red list that says fights to watch. And it's just like fights that like I hear talked about and or like fights that I think would be good that I like look up and find on UFC Fight Pass. And I've erased that once already. And keep in mind, most of them are titled an hour long.
Yeah.
And so it's like I have like these like where I'm going with this is like people are proud like oh my gosh I
It's
already
all good,
have my
homie. Don't worry.
hobbies, so that's what keeps. But
Yeah.
you, like you said, like people need to find hobbies. So that's what either that or I think there's people are going to be separated into like two camps. Is that one are the people who already have hobbies who are going to continue to do those hobbies and like maybe find some more or and people who are going to have to find hobbies because they don't or go to school anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other camp which is those people who are not going to change at all because nothing's going to change them.
Yeah. Well, like I think, yeah, it's like I think there's definitely there is, yeah. I think that you can divide that to like the positive and not so positive camp for how this goes for people, because I think that people that can take this and make the best of it, I think, are really gonna benefit from quarantine in general. But yeah, like I think because when you think about it, the biggest critique of how sort of cultures have changed to now is just people don't really do shit. Like most people couldn't build a table if you ask them to. That would like hold up if you drop some heavy shit on it, you know? But maybe
Mm-hmm.
people will like sit and try to figure out how to build a table because that's just something they're bored. And that's what like the reason I think that so much shit happened was because as we got better at farming, we had more food and we're like, well shit, what we do. We're bored. So they just started building things and making things and learning new things. And that's how we develop. Like, boredom is such an important part of development, in my opinion. So that's why, not to boomer it, but that's why I've kind of had an issue with phones. That's always like, well, it's just because it's just enough entertainment that you don't do other things.
True, true.
So
Um,
not the boomer, because that's illegal on here. But
that's illegal. We're gonna have to call the boomer man, the boomer police himself, the vagabond,
oh God, Jesus, we
the man who's
shit. Hi
coming.
Veronica,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
Good. What are you getting?
Your headphones.
My headphones.
Yeah.
Oh, also, there's that other thing. It's on the shelf. If you wanted to, not that shelf, other shelf, white shelf, second to the top on the corner. That's okay. I'll just show you later, sweetheart. Bye, love.
Bye.
Anyway,
Uh,
God, disgusting cretin. Thinks you can just walk in here. Jesus Christ.
One thing that I don't usually have time to do that now that I'm not working, I do, is that I'm like, cause like I don't know if we ever talked about this, but you've probably noticed like I'm like super into music and like
And I've been trying to get you to fucking use GarageBand, which I've been telling you to use for like 4 months, and you have not touched it yet.
I'm like, no. But like I'm also like it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I feel like I'm cultured in the music scene, but and I feel like a lot of people aren't. Uh,
Mhm.
but and just like now that I have time for that, like I'll show you again. I have this up on my wall. I have all of these. This green piece of paper. I don't know how well can you.
Definitely cannot read it, but there is writing on it, and I'm aware of
Yes,
that.
there's that green piece of paper, and it's a list of all the playlists that I have. It's like there's like a that I have for like placing music into each one because what I'm doing right now is going through like, all of the songs that I have and either deleting them or putting them in a play because I have like a ton of duplicates and a bunch of songs that like when sometimes you just download the whole album and not
and like half the album's dog shit, but the other half's good. But
yeah, so like going through all the music, but yeah, just like
I dig it, and I do think somewhere you need to fucking write down to try GarageBand because I think you will like it a lot once you give it a go. And because the boys have been talking about dropping an album for a while, but I don't know how music works.
I think if we're gonna drop them, Bobby and Noah need to be in.
Oh, obviously, we need to have like at least one operatic song that Noah's on.
Yeah, well, like Bobby is legendary me, and Noah actually has some musical talent. So
yeah, like he actually had like vocal training for the musicals he was in, and
doesn't have as much musical talent as me though.
Well, actually, what I was about to say was he doesn't quite have the superiority complex of Ian though, and that's a skill in itself.
What?
I say lacks the superiority complex that you got going for yourself.
But yeah, like in terms of like those like couple days into like week 1 where I was like sleeping till 2 p.m. Since then getting back on track, and what I would recommend that everyone would do is like for me like weightlifting, music, and like fighting, those are like my hobbies. So like really like go into those hobbies. Like for me, like what above all else for me in music in terms of like putting music into playlists is like how does that music make you feel? Like what do the lyrics make you think of? How does like what kind of mood does the beat put you in and everything? So like really just like go ham on your hobbies.
Yeah, no, like I definitely think like anything that anybody's wanted to do. Like of course there's like the memes where it's like I'm gonna do so much and then I do nothing, haha. Like it's funny the first 2 times. Maybe after you've been here for like a week or 2, like just start like actually doing stuff because like we will go insane if we don't do things. That's just like that's a uniquely human thing, is that if we aren't doing things, it's such a problem for us. So we just do shit and we develop things, and it's more fun. Like, try some music, listen to some music, and just vibe. Just vibe.
Just vibe. The way I've always thought about it is like you have like every day you have like I think about it like a 9-volt battery that you have inside you, and every day you use like part of that energy, and then at night it like fills back up. But if you don't use it, like when batteries expire
Hmm.
and they just like ooze acid and stuff, that's
Yeah.
what you are. You're an expired battery. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, bitch ass. Fuck you, expired ass looking battery.
Expired battery.
Bro, have you ever like seen like a cut open battery?
No, I
It's
haven't.
because you don't like. There's like a paste in it. It's weird. I don't.
Really?
Janer in chat probably knows how they work better than I do, and I'm not really in a position to Google it. But like,
Grade 6, they taught us about batteries, and
that's legit what I'm
I
remembering this from is the diagrams of an open
oh
battery and how it had there'd be like a cone. There's like a rod thing in the middle, and it's surrounded by this like grayish ooze. That's what leaks out. Like that's what battery acid comes from. Or I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not though.
I know there's like there's like they're so heavy because it's like kind of like a liquid paste in them
Hmm.
that like I don't really know how much, but I just
When the kid in the
imagine.
back of the class uncorks the battery and he says, "Time to hit the chug jug."
um,
Bro, I feel like you do shots of battery acid. I feel like if somebody told you to get you fucked up, you'd be like,
I mean,
"Well."
oh, um, yeah, the way you were saying before about like, haha, it's so funny that I'm depressed and do nothing.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
like
into that.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah, like off the bat, like making the joke like once or twice, it's like haha, like it's a taboo thing to say. It's kind of funny.
Well,
But
I
then
think
yeah,
you
go.
kind of relate to it. You kind of relate to it because it's like everyone has those like lazy where it's like I could do this, but I'm not going to because I'm tired or what. But
Hmm.
that's like wrong. That's not what you should be doing. Like if there's something that you should be doing it and not being like, oh haha, I'm so quirky. I let my life get destroyed and I stress about it, but I never do anything to fix it. Ah,
Yeah.
ah, ah.
Uh, like they should ah ha ha down a fucking hill. Like well, because I remember, I'm not going to call people out, but I remember there a friend of mine had approached me and they were saying like, "Hey Spencer, like I want some advice on something. Like all this is happening." It was some like she was talking with some guy. The guy thing wasn't really great. It was kind of uncomfortable, and she was like, "I don't know what to do." And I said, "Well, do you feel X, Y, and Z?" And she's like, "I do feel X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "Okay, then you need to do W or Q or whatever." And then she was like, "I mean, I
Cool.
should do that, and I could, but I don't think I will. But like, that's what I should do." I'm like, "Then do it. Like, just fucking.
I have
It's
a
not cute."
guess. I have a guess as to who this is. Do I
It's
know this?
vaguely like you. I don't think you've ever talked to them, if that's what you think.
Oh, okay. Okay, then never mind.
Yeah, nah. Like they're like they're smart and they're a good person. It's just like they're kind of like the nervous type, kind of. So like it's just unfortunate and kind of annoying more than anything. Of just because when there is a solution and they just don't go for it, like don't ask. What were
Don't
you gonna
have.
say?
That's a good segue into how much I hate TikTok.
God, the amount that you just messaged me saying if I see another TikTok, I'm gonna shoot somebody.
We'll see what the exact quote was today.
Because there are daily quotes of Ian
Yeah,
hating these children that just want to goof off in this dumb app.
let's see, where is it? I said I'm gonna assault the next person I see doing a TikTok.
I
Uh,
think you should get
because
your
assault,
youngest brother really hooked on TikTok.
and then every time I see him, just wham.
Just
uh,
gotta do it to him.
yeah. So what like and now why that's a good segue is because have you seen that thing that because they TikToks keep showing up on my explore page and I don't know why. They're all over my Instagram explore page.
Mhm.
And it's that thing where like shy kids do
Oh,
this.
that's disgusting. I
Oh,
hate
like
it. I
like
hate
I'm
it.
shy. Oh, and it's like who nobody does that. That's not a
Like,
thing. Like if you're shy, you
man,
don't this is
nobody like. That's a thing that like they did on like in films to represent being shy in like the 50s, and like
yeah.
barely then. Like if
That
you're
was because
doing
they didn't
that,
have
that's you're giving me a
audio.
target to boot.
Yeah, no, like this is not that's not like if you're shy, you're just shy.
Hmm.
Like you don't you know, oh, I'm so shy. I'm so quirky. Stop. Stop. And like just like I don't know if this is the boomer in me coming out. There's no like they don't have talent. Like I will admit, I see like the TikToks that the meme pages that I follow post, they're like it's kind of like version 2 of Vine in a
Yeah,
sense that like Vine in a sense like oh like some of these are actually like really funny because they're memes. I wouldn't really qualify them as TikTok. They're just using TikTok to make them meme. But everything else, like the whole like dancing thing where you're just like dancing and lip syncing to music, like you're
it's
not
not.
like you
It's
don't
not
have
anything.
talent. I understand. Like you didn't make the music. Like yes, dancing and being a really good dancer is a talent, but you're just doing like TikTok dances. Not these
Yeah,
aren't actually like require skill.
yeah. It's just something where like if you practice it for 20 minutes, you can get a video out.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Well, because as well, like not to fucking 9/11 didn't happen, the whole theory shit, but it is an objective fact that like TikTok is owned by a Chinese data mining company. Like several members of the Chinese government, like that are like their parliament that are sitting as members of government are partial owners of TikTok. Like that's that's just a fact. Why are people like they're just like, oh haha, it's a fun thing for kids. No, you have to put your phone number to be part of like to use the app, and it tracks your location. Like it's data mining. That's what it is.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
giving
I
their
didn't
phone
know.
numbers to TikTok and then they sell it to other companies. Like, ugh.
You know what I think is kind of funny? Like
Uh,
everyone's like, oh, like in China, you can't tell the difference between like the corporations and the government because it's like a communist state and they're like so interchanged. So that's like the concern with Huawei is, oh, it's like essentially like the Chinese government is a phone. And it's like, well, that's pretty much the same that it is in the States because except it's not like an actual partnership.
yeah,
They just pay you off behind closed doors.
yeah. Well, yeah, because the joke is that like in China, it's like, oh, the government is the corporations, but in the U.S., the corporations are the government. Like,
Yeah.
like that's kind of
This,
that's why I remember like when you think about it, like it's the view that like the idea of like capitalism is here and like communism is here, but kind of like it's more of a ring. Whereas the others like
yeah.
they're neutral, but as they get more extreme, they're the same thing. It's just run. One is run by a government and one is run by a corporation, and that's the
Yeah.
only difference.
Yep.
But that's why your man's is more left leaning. Because if it's a government, there's the assumption that they have to serve the people to some extent. Like they aren't just there to make money. But a corporation doesn't give a shit. Their goal is profit.
You know,
Like when Converse made dog shit gay shoes that I bought.
uh, I think like I mainstream news outlets, especially the Americans, make me very because like
It's so bad.
leading up to the 2016 presidential election, if you watched the mainstream American news outlet, Hillary Clinton was a saint, unless you were watching Fox. But all the other ones, Hillary Clinton was a saint.
Yeah, well, because
And
they brush off Fox News because it's viewed as like, oh, that's just the Republican, blah blah blah. But CNN is just the same thing for the Democrats.
Yeah. Well, and like it was like Hillary Clinton was a saint, but the Clinton body count is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton campaigned, I think she actively campaigned to go into Iraq for the Iraq war, I think.
She was one of the main people that debated in the Democratic Party in favor of the Iraq War.
Yeah. She actively campaigned against gay marriage,
She did.
as well as there's this whole thing about her like being for like um her being for like free healthcare. That was like I believe that that was in her campaign, if I'm not mistaken. But
Sounds right.
she tried to do that when her husband Bill Clinton was president. And you know why she didn't like ever get to do it?
Why, Ian?
Because she got paid off.
Yeah.
The the companies that provide what's it called medical care in the United
Oh, like
States paid her
pharmaceutical
off.
companies?
Yeah, and pharmaceutical companies they all paid her
Oh,
off,
oh,
and that shut
disgusting.
her up. Yeah.
God, I hate America. Oh, it's so horrendous when you get to the higher levels of it and the lower levels. Cause
I feel
oh,
like this is libertarian Ian coming at you, but like that's also I think a problem in Canada to a lesser extent than America, just because um, we're like half American kind of,
yeah, like
whereas
we share a lot of like Canada likes to think we're on a pedestal where we are one tick away from America in the sense that we aren't America. Like we share a lot culturally, and we like our obesity rates are nearly the same.
yeah,
But well, because like the way that I look at it is that America like really isn't that free. Like they don't. They're very much stuck in a system that doesn't make life easy for them. They're stuck in a system that means that they have to work 14-hour days to afford rent and barely afford food. If you're at like the bottom of the barrel, and if you're at the top of the barrel, then you just have everything, and that's not really freedom either. That's just control. So that's my opposite. Like I'm a fan of governments enabling people to do whatever they want, and I feel like the governments in the U.S. enable corporations, but not the people themselves.
I feel like money talks, and that's really just how it be.
you, I'm dollar bills, y'all, dollar bills. Enough said.
I like a lot of the principles that America was found in terms of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, like the
Oh
idea.
yeah,
I mean, they didn't need to write it first because they had slaves, but the idea all men are created equal, but like the money talking per se has very much furthered that.
yeah. Well, because I think as well, like the principles of like laissez-faire, um, and like how the U.S. started. Like I feel like if I had to be anywhere in like I don't know 1780, like the U.S. probably wouldn't have been a cool place to be, or like in the year 1800, I'd probably like to be in the U.S. That seems like a nice place, mainly because I feel like I just wouldn't want to be in Britain during the Industrial Revolution since I've been researching that lately, and it was terrible. It was horrendous. Now, oh, that's actually one thing I wanted to talk about like because I've been saying how culturally people are so different now, and one thing is that like people in the past 200 years have gotten so much unbelievably physically weaker because
Yeah,
like what I was learning about was how the workhouses in England during the Industrial Revolution, where this was people that weren't able to do other work for whatever reason, but they needed food and shelter. So they would have to break hundreds and hundreds of pounds of rocks into gravel for several hours. And there was a show that I had seen where it was like people, like modern people going in this time, and one of the people was like a national champion athlete that was not physically strong enough to keep up with the workload for the person at the bottom of the barrel in 1862.
I I think the human the human drive the human like drive to survive is like incredible, and like it's like those like it's like a cliche thing that you hear in YouTube motivational videos,
Mhm.
but like and but like a human will, like if you genuinely put your mind to something, like a human will is essentially unstoppable.
Oh yeah.
like like if you think about, I don't know, like one of the stories is like Conor McGregor. Um, he was working like 14-hour days. He was a plumber, like, and like a week before his first fight in the UFC, he was on welfare.
Hmm.
But he was like, because like he quit his job as a plumber and was like this, and he became, well, like right now you could argue like one of the best pound for pound fighters in the UFC in terms of like and like he's built an empire. Like I
Oh yeah.
think he's if I he is like by far the biggest draw in the UFC.
Hmm.
Like his pay-per-views sell the most. I read a stat that because all pay-per-views for the US are on ESPN now. So he single-handedly increased ESPN Plus sales by 1 million. They went 6.7 million to 7.7 million just from one of his cards.
God. Yeah.
He's the
Well,
biggest.
he's a champ.
Yeah, he's the biggest draw in the UFC, and he's built himself an empire. He has a whiskey company.
Hmm.
He has a clothing. Um, he has like various. He has this like social media company called the Mac Life that basically like documents his life.
Yeah.
Like and
I have a
coming.
theory though.
Okay.
So my theory is that I think part of that is I think Connor, he gets a lot of shit because I think he's just like talks entertainingly and that's all he does. But I think he's a pretty smart guy. So I think
Oh yeah.
part of that is that he knows, like he's in great shape. He's still an excellent fighter. He's still getting back into it. But I feel like his next kind of, because like he had a run and then he lost to Khabib and then he lost to Mayweather, or the other way around, I think.
Yeah, other
Um,
way around.
yeah, and then he kind of like took a hiatus, and now he's back. And I'm pretty sure the run of fights he does now, I don't think they're gonna. I think it's gonna last a few years, and I think it's gonna be done. So I think that's why he's just establishing a bigger legacy while he's still big. Like that's a clothing company, that's a whiskey brand. So then that legacy will carry on. Like one of the former like most famous boxers in the world, George Foreman. Now everybody knows the George Foreman grill. Most people don't think of him as a world
Yeah,
champion boxer. So
yeah. Like
I think he's smart and he sees that the money isn't going to be in UFC for him much longer necessarily, and he wants to keep living the life he has, so he's going to branch out into clothing, whiskey, this that the other thing until there'll be a certain point like with George Foreman where people know the grill better than the fighter.
mhm. I have a distinct memory of walking in to a Walmart, I think it was, kid,
Walmart.
or like with my dad and mom, like all my siblings, and there was like a sale on George Foreman grills at this thing, and I was like, "Who is this man? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is like who is this guy on this box?" And my dad told me he was like a massively famous boxer, and
Oh yeah.
now my man sells grills.
Yeah, no, like he fought Mike Tyson. Like, I think basically
Yeah.
the reason Mike Tyson is as famous as he is because he beat George Foreman.
Mhm.
Like, it's just, it's whack, gamer. But I feel like we should end her for tonight. I think we've had a good chat.
One
Appreciate the
more
people.
topic.
You got one more thing?
Yeah.
All right, let's give her a go.
So I watched. There's this thing on YouTube, not YouTube, on Netflix. It's
Is it called Tiger King?
no, no. It's just kind of like it's an awards night, but it's like the Mark. It's Dave Chappelle getting the Mark Twain Award, which is like the highest honor for
Wasn't Mark
comedy.
Twain like reasonably racist?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Mark
We
Twain.
can
I
keep
just know.
going. It's all good.
uh, but I just want like in my notes, I just have Dave Chappelle is incredible because
Oh
the
yeah.
man truly is just like the comedic ability to be that funny. Like for me, like Dave Chappelle's my favorite comedian. It's easy, but one of another comedian that I really like. Uh, Two comparable ones, I would say Bill Burr and Joe. And I both
Hmm.
really both like those guys.
I swear to
But
God, for a moment I was like, if he says Louis C.K., we're gonna be done.
if he says what?
Louis C.K.
Oh, uh, but like even though I really like Bill Burr and Joe Rogan, like there's Dave Chappelle
Oh yeah.
who's amazing, and then there's like it's a significant amount on Bill Burr and Joe Rogan. I heard Kevin Hart tell a story about him and Chris Rock were at a comedy club, and they went up and they did their sets, and so they were like talking in the back, and they were like helping each other like with the jokes, because like I don't know if any of you know, but like how a comedian makes a special is they go to comedy clubs like around the
Around the
states,
block.
yeah, and they like try out like different jokes that they've written, and so they refine the material like over and over, like as till they have about an hour of like really good material. That's a special. But anyways, and then Dave Chappelle got up to do his set at this comedy club, and Kevin Hart and Chris Rock are in the back, both very good comedians. Watched Dave Chappelle and listened to him do this set, and they both looked at each other and simultaneously crumpled up the jokes that they had because they were just not even on the same as
Oh.
they just so good.
Well, I remember I think he opened one special where he's like, guys, I'm thinking I might be done soon because it's too easy. It's too easy.
Yeah, he was like, I'm just too good.
And he's just so excellent with comedy because well, I think if we could figure out what it is that made him so funny, then we'd probably, our career would be doing a little better on Twitch. But uh, like he's got something down, and you can't fault him for that. And I think on that note, bless Chappelle, bless the viewers. Let's end it for
God,
tonight, homie.
and thank you for watching, everyone. If
Mhm.
you're listening to YouTube, thank you for listening. And just remember that Spencer's a sin, and we will never forget that.
And maybe on a lighter note, do a hobby. Try and make the best
Oh
of
yeah,
being stuck
yeah,
at home.
yes,
Some positivity for the boys at the end of the day.
yeah.
Anyway, have a good one, everybody. Let's end her. And then there's this awkward little moment that's just between you and us, folks. And yeah, there we go. Good night, everybody.